Hey friend, so you want to record a podcast remotely with a remote guest, but you don't know how to. I'm going to show you those 3 different ways of recording a podcast remotely, and stick around to the end so that you can learn how I find guests also remotely. Okay, the very first way that you can record a podcast remotely with a remote guest is less ideal, but it works, is to have whoever it is that you are interviewing call in on your phone, and you put them on speaker, and you have a recording device of sorts next to it, and so it captures your voice and it captures their voice as their voice comes out of the speaker. Not ideal, seriously not ideal. That's why it's like on the lowest part of this hierarchy, but in a pinch it'll do the job. The second way that you can do it is simply using Zoom. Everyone and their grandmothers today, they know how to use Zoom. They are familiar with Zoom or Google Meets, or no, is it Google Meets? Yeah, or Microsoft Teams. And all those allow for video conferencing or just audio only conferencing features. And you can record the guests' audio and video. The downside being time limit, right? You cannot record indefinitely. Maybe you can only have like a few people in the meeting. Different softwares vary differently. The big boys in this space, we use specific software that target not just video conferencing, but podcast and remote podcasting specifically. So, for example, you have the one that I use, for instance, which is Riverside.fm. They're not a sponsor of this video at all. You also have Podcastle. Podcastle does that. You have Ecamm Live if you are on a Mac. You can look this up later on, or I can leave the links down in the description. And these are software that allow you to record guests remotely. With Riverside specifically, it records my video, it records the guest's video, and it is independent of the connection. So even if the Wi-Fi connection drops or the Wi-Fi connection is a bit unstable, both our videos are being recorded in high quality and then uploaded to the cloud to be downloaded later on. Okay, so those are 3 different ways of recording a podcast today. And well, it doesn't have to be a video podcast, it can be an audio podcast alone. So the bonus, which is which software that I use to find guests. I personally use Matchmaker.fm. They're also not a sponsor of this video at all. Nobody is. But when I first ran into it, I thought it was like a sort of dating website type thing, but it's not. It simply matches people that want to create a podcast, and people that have a podcast and people that want to be on a podcast. And the rest of the podcasting space takes place on Riverside.fm. So using 2 different softwares to make this happen. Okay. Just to summarize here, in order to record a podcast remotely, there's a few different ways to do it. It's up to you. It's up to you to choose the one that's introduces the least amount of friction, right? And the one that gets you started right away. And so if that's calling a friend and putting them on speaker and recording it, that's where you start. But there are many other tools that facilitate the process of podcasting remotely with remote guests. That's my 2 cents. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.